One of the hot topics circulating the web the past few days has been the New York Times website redesign. And while the feedback has been mostly positive, there's some criticism around the fact that the New York Times has started including native advertising in their content offerings. And for those of you not familiar with native advertising, it's basically when a company pays to have an article that was written by the company appear in a publication. And I think this is kind of a net win for both sides. The publication gets paid, and there's advertising space taken up, and the company that's paying for it gets some distribution for an idea that maybe they couldn't actually get any real news coverage around. And good or bad, I think there's value in having that option be available. Now, the criticism comes from the fact that people are, on one hand, concerned that the editorial quality of the New York Times will be called into question, and on the second hand, they don't think that native advertising is a viable business model. Now, the business model definitely works. It's been around for a couple of decades. I know Forbes magazine has been doing it in print for probably close to 20 years by now, and has been doing it very successfully. They still do it today. Their latest 30 Under 30 issue included a special advertising section from Japan that had articles about Japanese companies. Now, on the whether or not the editorial quality will be called into question, I think if you read the sponsored content that's coming from Dell, and you read the editorial content that is coming from the New York Times staff writers, there will never ever be a question as to which one is better. And in terms of whether or not you can trust the editorial staff if they ever cover Dell, I don't think that anybody is going to confuse Dell paying for a section in the New York Times versus buying a similar sized ad that is just a graphic as being something that is going to curry favor with the editorial staff. In my experience in talking to journalists and being a journalist, there is virtually nothing that curries favor with journalists. So, I don't know. What do you think? Is native advertising a bad thing for the New York Times, or a bad thing for journalism in general? Or is it something that is going to help better quality journalism survive?